A daring rescue mission by Delta Force commandos has freed Kurt Muse from a prison in Panama. But his journey to freedom is far from over. There's a big problem with one of the choppers.
We lifted off the roof and immediately, I don't know if it was a nosedive, but we slid off to the left-hand side. That wasn't according to the plan.
Special Ops soldier Larry Vickers is in Chalk 2, watching Chalk 1, containing Muse, take off.
It appeared to be overloaded. It lifted off to the left side of the prison as we were facing, and then essentially kind of dipped down into the darkness, trying to gain speed. At that time, I lost it. It was pitch black. I really couldn't see the helicopter after that.
The pilot of Muse's Little Bird dips the aircraft to avoid hitting power lines. At the same time, the chopper is taking fire from the Panamanian forces. The extra weight on the helicopter causes it to quickly lose altitude. It plummets 60 feet before the pilot regains control.
We were taking fire immediately, a lot of fire. And they had gone down from we're about 4 floors up and dropped down to about 4 or 5 feet off the ground, and we're sort of moving down the street. And I thought he was doing it to avoid getting shot at.
Well, that wasn't sufficient either, so he landed.
The Little Bird is struggling to fly. It can still move, but only on the ground.
At that point, things were getting interesting. We should be flying, but we're driving now. So we go down the street, away from the prison, make a left-hand turn. We go a few more feet down that street, and he stops. Me and Kelly unbuckle, do the same thing, get out, take security positions.
Now on the street, Pat and Kelly prepare for a firefight. But the pilot wants to leave the area quickly.
James comes out, grabs us, says, "Get back on the bird." He can take off.
Chalk 1 lifts off again, directly into enemy fire. But Pat and Kelly have forgotten to buckle their safety harnesses.
At that point, the tail boom of the helicopter started taking rounds. You could see it getting stitched. And since it was head level, I thought, well, the next round's going to be in my head.
One hit me in the belly area.
I felt Kelly brush off my left shoulder and fall forward.
The force that dove me over, just, I went.
I went to grab him, and I launched off the skid at the same time.
So I dropped about 20 or 30 feet. I hit my head, and I blacked out for pretty much the rest of the operation.
Kelly has been shot in the chest. Fortunately, an armored vest saves his life. But now, he and Pat are helpless and exposed on the ground.
We beat the helicopter to the ground. Next thing I know, my eyes open up, I'm on the ground, blood everywhere from my right leg. And I see the helicopter, one of the skids is broken. At that point, yes, it was not like rehearsal.
In the crash, Pat Savage is hurt, but he's not the only one. The Little Bird's left skid has landed directly on James Sudderth's leg.
So I was actually pinned underneath the aircraft. My foot felt like somebody actually literally taken an axe and just hacked into it. For at least a couple of seconds, I had to be completely unconscious. But once I was and realized what was going on, I started kicking the skid as hard as I could with my other foot to try to get it out from underneath there, because I didn't want to die on the ground on my back.
Hey, let's go!
Kurt Muse scrambles from the chopper unhurt.
I was not conscious of anything going on around me except my own condition, and I didn't know who was injured or not.
With the mission now in chaos, Muse searches for cover. But James is still stuck.
I kicked and kicked and kicked until I got my foot out from underneath there. And once I did that, Then the next pain that went through my mind was the pain in the back of my leg, and I could feel a piece of shrapnel or metal, and I pulled that out. It just sort of fell out.
Finally free, James limps over to help Pat, still on the ground with his injured leg.
I don't know if it was adrenaline or what, but right before James came up to me at that point, it was just like, hey, I'm not dying in the street today. So he helped me up, so we needed each other's help to get off the street. And then we took up security positions. Kurt was fine. The two pilots were fine. Everybody else was pretty much kind of in a bad way.
We basically took cover in positions behind the different vehicles. They're gonna get Kurt, they gotta come past me, and that's just the way it was. And I was prepared to do whatever I needed to do, including die, to make sure